I'd like to read some Arcadian folktales.
A favored topic of mine. I have just what you're looking for.
Sadra the Faithful Wife. Sadra was married to a brute of a man named Care. He was a bully who drank, cursed, gambled, and beat up his wife when he'd lost coins at the cups table. Still, Sadra treated Care with respect and care. She fed him when he was hungry, she made his bed, and washed his back, and she laid down with him when he told her to. She never complained of her hardships to anyone, even though some days she woke up with bruises all over her body. Despite her husband's treatment, Sadra was a beautiful woman, with lovely dark hair and green eyes, and men would admire her when she went to the market for food, or the town well for water. But no one dared approach her, fearing her dangerous husband more than they admired her beauty and grace. People would say, "Poor Sadra, she deserves more than what she has. She's so good and patient even though her husband mistreats her every day." But no one was willing to do anything to free her from her husband, as they all feared his wrath. "She chooses her own path," they would say, "and it is not our duty to interfere." Then one day, a tall and handsome prince rode into town to visit the elder council. When he spotted Sadra carrying 2 heavy buckets from the well to her home on the edge of town, he was taken with her beauty and youth, and he jumped down from his horse to help her carry her buckets home. On the way, he offered Sadra courtship, but when told she was already married, he bowed respectfully and excused himself from acting inappropriately. That night, Sadra's husband heard about the prince helping his wife, and after striking her down for letting royalty interfere with her duties, he strode drunkenly, for he had already had his usual fill of dark ale, towards the tavern where the prince and his cohorts were staying. When Care arrived at the tavern, the prince was eating dinner, and when told Sadra's husband was there to see him, the prince stood and waved the man closer. "I must congratulate you on your good taste in marriage," said the prince, "for your wife is the most beautiful and good-hearted woman I have ever met." And then he offered Care a seat and a tall mug of ale. But the angry husband did not appreciate the prince's advances, and he drew a sword and lunged at the prince before his guests could react. The prince was quick and lucky to avoid certain death, and before Care could make a second strike, the prince had recovered his sword from where it stood by the wall, and stood ready to fight the brute. "Leave him be," called the prince when his guards drew arms and ran to protect their liege. "This is between him and me." Smiling briefly, he nodded his head to Care and stood to attention. Obviously his skill with the sword was formidable. Care, a coward at heart, knew that if he fought fairly, he would surely die, and he sheathed his sword, but loosened the knife he had tucked up his long sleeve. "My pardon, prince," said Care. "My love for my wife is such that I am blinded by jealousy. I offer you friendship and apologies." He extended an open hand to the prince, and smiled a broad lizard smile. The prince, unaware of Care's mistreatment of his faithful wife, smiled back, put down his sword, and extended his own hand. "Your apology is accepted, sir." Then, suddenly, Care's knife was in his hand and moving in a blur towards the prince's exposed throat. Had it not been for the quick eye of a nearby guard, who with the broadside of his sword struck Care on the side of his head, the prince would have been dead. The knife carved a deep scar in the prince's shoulder, but did no serious harm. Care was taken away to the town prison to be judged when the sun rose. His crime was surely punishable by death, especially if Sadra would testify to his cruelty in front of the judge. Free of Care's tyranny, the townspeople now spoke of Sadra's suffering by her husband's hand. But Sadra would not herself, even now, speak against her husband, and instead of being sentenced to death, Care was sent away to work the king's mines for 25 years. Taken by her faithfulness, the prince yet again offered Sadra courtship, but yet again Sadra declined, for she was still a married woman. Then, 1 year later, Care attempted to escape the king's mines by killing 2 guards and climbing the walls, but he was shot down with an arrow and died in agony and disgrace. Again, the prince visited Sadra's town, bringing condolences and a renewed offer of courtship, and this time Sadra agreed. Months later, the prince and Sadra were married in a glorious ceremony, and when the old king died, the prince became regent, and Sadra his queen. She was as good a queen as the land had ever seen, and she was loved dearly until the day she died, and her funeral was the grandest and most tearful in memory.
Are you done?
That's all we can read for now. I'm going to go away and talk to a couple of other people, and then I'll have to come back. But that's the vast majority of the reading done, thankfully.
It's a pool of seawater. You'd think that it'd be a bad idea to have a pool inside a library on account of the moisture, but I guess magic makes everything possible. The water's pretty cold.
Nothing we can do down here just now, but you know. What I'm going to do is go and talk to a couple of people down by the docks. We need to ask seafaring people about myths of gods falling into the sea. And I should probably talk to Brian Westhouse again as well. Oh, who are you?
Assorted cargo.
I can't interact with you. Okay then. Let's bother our favourite captain again.
Hello. Do you know anything about a god that fell from the sky into the sea?
Of course. You find fallen gods most everywhere these days. They're an air and a hand.
Really?
No, of course not. There are no fallen gods in the sea. It wouldn't make much sense, would it? If the sea was full of gods just lying about the seabed.
So you've never heard of such a thing happening?
Now you got it.
Bye.
Okay, that's him ticked off the list. Now we're going to go to this small pier that we haven't been to yet. There's just this guy sat on his chest.
The old man and the, ocean? Looks like a lifetime at sea has left its tracks on him.
Better a lifetime at sea than a day in a dress and a brassiere.
Very rude.
I wouldn't feel too comfortable about sailing anywhere in that. It's like a toy boat for children. It's a lighthouse. The blue fire's burning bright, a safe beacon for weary sailors, and a magnet for flowery prose. It's a quaint, old-fashioned treasure chest. I wonder if there's anything exciting inside it, like doubloons or whatever they're called. Looks like a lifetime at sea has left its tracks on him.
And it be looking like a lifetime of shooting your mouth off be taking its toll on yous.
Let's talk to this dude.
Hello, old man.
I got me no treasure and I got me no map of no buried treasure. I just be an old sailor with no ship, so leave us be.
What are you doing?
Mending nets, of course. What'd it look like I be doing?
I'm not well versed in maritime customs.
Mar what? Ah, yous mean sea life, do you not? Ah, the smell of the salty sea, the lapping of waves on your ship, the spray of cold water on your face, plump maidens in every part. Aye, I tell yous, I be having stories about the sea.
Care to share some of your maritime stories with me?
Mar what? Ah, tales of the sea, right? Sure, sweetie, I be happy to. Now, what stories be you wanted to hear, then?
Any tale of your exciting adventures will do.
I be having plenty of tales to tell. There be the tale of me adventures in the Baksheevan Empire, if you'd be interested. It'd be a tale of grand romance, just up your alley, be sure of it.
Sure, that sounds like a fine story.
Aye. It be near on 50 years ago that I was a mate on a sturdy old lady called the Three-Legged Whore.
The what?
What do I be saying? She was called the Thrifty Horse, she was. Aye, that be her name. The Whistle Whatsit.
You don't remember the ship's name, do you?
Anyways, I be a young mate then, and we be anchored in Monterba, the grand western port of the once glorious Baksheevan Empire. I be having ship leave until the following evening, and it be me first visit to that exotic and dangerous port. So I sets out to have a look around. Now, bear in mind that Monterba be ruled by a mock. Like all large Baksheevan cities. In principle, the mock be having to report to and pay half of all taxes to the emperor in Port Altaban. But with the Baksheevan Empire having all but crumbled into pieces, the provinces do be having the power to do pretty much as they be wanting. And so I sets out on me own that day to explore the city. Now, bear in mind that all the cities of the Southlands, and that be me adventures in the once glorious empire of Bakshiva. And that be how I meet me bird, how I seduce and romance the mock's daughter, how I be chased from Mount Herba by the mock's soldiers, and how I be the first man to walk across the desert of Shangagriel, the wastelands, and how I be getting this awful rash on. Girl, you do not be sleeping, do you?
What? What? Sleeping? No. Just concentrating really hard. Good story, though. Solid material. Ever considered doing a book?
Aye, but the agents in Marcuria be bloodthirsty vampires with no thought but to milk your life's blood.
Oh, so they take an outrageous commission, then?
No, they actually be bloodthirsty vampires with a penchant for biting your neck when you ain't be looking.
Huh.
Now what do we need after that and our recent trip to the Enclave? More stories.
I'd love to hear some more maritime stories.
Sure, sweetie, I'd be happy to. What story you be wanting to hear now?
Let's have something actually useful this time.
Have you heard a story about a god who fell from the sky into the sea?
Aye, that I be having. Although that be a story of man-eating mermen who ravaged the sea of songs, swallowing sailors whole and spitting their bones out to dry. Are you sure you be up for hearing such a cruel tale?
I've heard worse.
Ye be a tough little lady, be you not? All right. Well, like I be telling yous, the sea of song surrounding the island kingdom of Gien be a treacherous sea where countless vessels have disappeared without a trace. Now, this be near 30 long winters ago, mind, during me second term as captain of the trader Lucky Lady. We've been crossing the Sea of Songs for 2 seasons, and we'd yet to be seeing any sign of the dreaded bloodthirsty mermen who lurk in the waters off the Gien coast. That night we be laying still with our sails down, awaiting the wind to pick up and carry us north to Mercuria, when we be hearing a frightful scream a-coming from the port side of the Lady Luck. I be the first to rush over on account of me having me arm down the apple barrel. We just been to Arras to pick up 100 barrels of sweet Gien apples. And as luck would have it, I be there just in time to witness Sally Barney's horrible fate. He be in the water, screaming and waving his arms, and the water around him be red as a midwife's arms after a grueling birth.
I get the picture. Go on.
Then I glimpse a large, shiny, sleek body be pulling Sally down and swallow him whole. It be the mermen come to claim the body of the sailor who dare cross their sea.
Are you sure it wasn't a shark?
What?
Big fish with sharp teeth and dead black eyes and a large triangular fin on top?
Ye mean a black-eyed snapjaw? I guess it could have been, but it be no snapjaw. It be the dreaded merman of the Sea of Songs.
Where does the sea god fit into all of this?
Aye, I be coming to that. You see, the bloodthirsty mermen be not only happy with cannibalizing sailors, but they be sacrificing their own to their dark old sea god.
Actually, unless the mermen are human, they wouldn't really be cannibals if they ate humans.
Blood sacrifices to their dreaded god who lives on the bottom of the sea. Aye, that be the truth of the mermen, fierce and bloodthirsty cannibals of the Sea of Songs.
Thanks. Good story.
Aye.
Aye.
I'm all storied out for now. Thanks.
Aye, ye tell me when you want more, right?
What have you got in that chest?
What chest?
The one you're sitting on.
Oh, that be no chest, girl. That be me stool. Aye, me stool, carved into the uncanny likeness of a chest.
But what's in it?
No priceless treasure, that be for sure. Nothing at all. It be empty.
No, really. What's in the chest?
Oh, live snakes. Aye, snakes that'll bite your face off before you have time to jump. Better leave them be, then.
I'm still curious about that chest.
Right. I be telling yous, curse the balance, girl. You never give up, do you? I be having no real treasure in here, like I told ye. But it be where I keep me personal articles and things I be picking up now and then on me travels. And me bed, it's where I be keeping me bed before I be losing him. I be a stupid old man. He be my best friend. I ain't nobody else around to talk to, you see, on account of him being a talking bird.
What happened to your talking bird?
I be cheated out of him. Aye, that cups handler on the marketplace be cheating me in a full game of cups, and I be having to give me bird up to try to win me money back.
And what happened?
He be taking me bird when I be choosing the wrong cup. Aye, my best friend taken from me. Cursed be the balance. I be all lonesome now. The worst part is that me bird is now a prize to be won. A prize in the cups game. Beat the handler thrice and you win a prize of your choice, me poor bird.
What's your bird's name?
Bird.
Oh. I'd better get going.
Ah, yous young'uns be always running round. Everything be so important. Yous be having no time to sit down and take a breath. So go. Be not wasting your time here with me.
So that talking bird at the cup stand is his. Good to know. Alright, that's all he be having to tell us right now. What is it with old sailors and long, pointless stories? I did manage to get some useful information out of the old man, however. He claims that the god that fell into the sea, the one Obnaxus told me about, is worshipped by the bloodthirsty cannibal mermen who live in the Sea of Songs around the island of Gaen. I think that's how it's spelled. The fact that they're not necessarily cannibal just because they eat humans didn't really deter him from finishing his story. I'm having my doubts about how bloodthirsty these creatures really are as well. Seems like the monster he described in his story could be some kind of shark instead of a merman. Whatever the truth, if anybody knows about this god who fell from the stars, it would be the mermen. The mermen certainly sounds like something we could read about in the Enclave. First though, I'm going to head over to Brian Westhouse, see if he has anything to add. Because I think he does.
Hi there, Mr. Westhouse. I'm back.
My word. What on earth possessed you to return to this god-forsaken place? You were lucky to escape the first time, but now you're really pushing it.
It's not that bad a place, or else you wouldn't stay here. Besides, this time I didn't exactly come here by choice.
I stay here because I'm a true masochist, Miss Ryan. And who forced you to come? Was it Cortez?
He doesn't even know I'm here, unfortunately. No, I think I had some kind of accident with my so-called powers. I shifted in my underwear.
No, huh? Isn't that the way it is, though? We always cross the rift at the most inopportune times. Care for a drink? Oh, no, that's right. You, don't.
Would you mind helping me with a few questions?
I've nothing better to do, so shoot.
Do you know anything about dragons?
I try to stay out of the affairs of the kin these days. What precisely do you wish to know about the damn beasts?
There are 2 dragons in Arcadia, and I'm trying to locate them.
Yeah, I've heard that tale myself, but no, I don't know anything about it. You'd be better off speaking with the Sentinel Minstrom. After all, religion is their specialty, not mine.
Did you ever hear a story about a god who fell from the sky?
Stories aren't my thing, April. You should visit a library. I'm sure you'll find some stories in the books. I know the Sentinel have a library somewhere near the city. I've also heard rumor of a people with wings who do nothing but observe and record history through stories. But I don't know if that's all it is. A rumor. Still, if you're looking for stories, it may be wise to check it out and see if you can find them.
The flying people. We can look them up as well now.
I'm looking for a disc that will open up the Guardian's realm.
That's religion, Miss Ryan. And the only things I worship are whiskey, a good cigar, and a nice long... Anyway, don't ask me about all that balance mumbo-jumbo.
Would you be able to tell me where I could look for the entrance to the Guardian's realm?
In Tobias's pants, if he had his wish, I'm sure. No, I'm sorry. I don't know anything about the Guardians, balance, or Sentinel, or gardening. Now, if you're interested in bullfighting, I could talk all night.
Bullfighting's a horrible act of cruelty to animals, and not much of a sport at all.
I'll just forget you said that, Miss Ryan. If there's one thing I miss about Stark, it's bullfighting.
You'll be happy to hear, then, that they abolished bullfighting hundreds of years ago.
Damn.
What did you say about the flying people?
They're supposed to be great storytellers, and they've been observing this world for a very long time. But it could only be a rumor.
I can't think of any more questions for now.
Then let's talk about other things, shall we?
Thanks, Mr. Westhouse.
Anytime, April. Come back if you're homesick and you feel like talking to a fellow alien.
Good. Let's head back to the Enclave and look up those mermen and flying people.
I'm looking for some information, but I'm not... I've heard rumors about mermen who live beneath the Sea of Songs, and I'd like to find out more about them.
Mermen in the Sea of Songs. Let me see what I can find, yes? I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Merum, also mermen, merpeople, Merians. A magical people who reside in the depths of the Great Ocean and other seas. Little contact has been made with the Merum, who are believed to have been quite numerous in the past, but are now dwindling in numbers. Confirmed location of Merum cities is between the Briston Atoll and Guyenne, centering on the Sea of Songs. Legends of mermen, merpeople, Merians are rampant among sailors. These stories portray the Merum as a grotesque and violent light, betraying the truth of a largely peaceful people. Although not much is known about the Merum, their religion apparently centers around the belief of a benevolent god who lives in the immense depths of the Great Ocean, and who brought the Merum to Earth from a place distant and wonderful.
Are there any books about flying people who observe and tell stories?
Winged storytellers, hmm? Let me see what I can find. Hold on.
The island of Elias, near the Briston Atoll. Maybe I should try to go there.
We can now ask certain people about Elias. The dialogue options won't show up before you read this. Elation. A crafty winged people who have been recently dwindling in numbers, and whose ability to fly long distances has been steadily diminishing over the past few centuries. The Elation are known for their ability to remember and tell stories from before the dawn of mankind and up to modern events. The largest known tribe of Elation with whom traders have occasional contact resides on the otherwise uninhabited island of Elias in the Briston Atoll. Brian Westhouse just told me something I should remember. He said he's heard stories about a winged people who observe and record history. If they've got records going back thousands of years, maybe they know something about the whereabouts of the disc, the jewels, or even the entrance to the Guardian's realm. It's definitely worth checking out. I went to the library. Yes, me! Imagine that. To look for some information about those flying creatures that Brian told me about. And with Minstrom Yerin's help, I found just what I was looking for. They're actually called the Elation, and there's a tribe of them living on an island south of here, Elias. Which is such good news, considering how much I love water. And that was my sarcastic voice, by the way. Now, who do I know with a ship? Well, there's only one person we know with a ship, and that's Captain Nebervay.
Hello.
So now we can ask about Elias.
Do you know the island of Elias?
The vacation paradise of the ancient Delmari? Certainly.
How do I get there?
It's near the Briston Atoll, but boats rarely travel directly to Briston from Marcuria. You'd have to travel via Guyenne.
Can you give me a lift to Guyenne on your ship?
There are 3 problems with that scenario. Number 1, there's no wind, so we can't set sail south. Number 2, I lost my navigator a few weeks past, and I have yet to find his replacement. And number 3, you're a woman. We don't let women on board the White Dragon.
Isn't that a bit sexist?
Sexy is just what I worry about. What with a boat full of men being out at sea for months at a time?
Not sexy, sexist.
I'm a sailor, girl. What do you expect? Good bedside manners?
I'd really appreciate it if I could hitch a ride with you to Guyenne.
Ain't gonna happen. Sorry.
So he can't help us. Yet.
Bye.
There is, of course, going to be a very, very roundabout way of getting him to help us. Firstly, we need to go and speak to the old man again, and ask him about Elias.
Hello again, old man.
It be you.
Do you know the island of Elias?
Aye, I be knowing lots and lots about the feared Isle of Elias.
It's feared? How?
Because it be a place of cannibals.
You really don't know anything about the island of Elias, do you?
No, I do not.
Do you know how I can get passage on a boat going south?
Aye, coin be the way, as me beloved wife always be saying. 'Course she'd be running off with a wealthy merchant while I be away at sea. Women never trusted one I didn't pay for again.
I don't have much coin at all.
And I be at a loss, as do ye, unless...
I need coin to travel in a boat unless... what?
Unless I be calling in a favour with the good Captain Horatio Nebave, who be travelling to Guyenne as soon as the wind be picking up.
What kind of favor?
Oh, he be owing me from back when I was his captain.
Would you cash in your favor with Nebave if I got your bird back?
Aye, I be promising anything to get me friend back. It be a deal.
See you later.